Take a moment and think about the last time you and your family sat down and played a board game. Was it your favorite? Was it something that held special significance to you? Was it something you even looked forward to? For those of you who love to spend time with your family and play board games, then you know how easy it is to completely immerse yourself in the game and engage in friendly competition at the same time. As someone who loves board games, having a family tradition like this has made such a powerful impact on my life. So today, I'm going to explain to you the history of my family game night, its significance in my life, and then I will demonstrate the arrangement and play of my favorite board game. In order to understand the significance and impact that family game night has had in my life, first, let me explain the history behind game night. What is it all about? For my family, it begins with stacks of snacks, games, and movies on our dining room table. This began when I was about 7 years old, and we realized over time it was difficult for us to plan a weekly game night, so we moved it to the first Saturday of every month, and that's how it's been ever since. It began as a way for us to relax after a long day's work or a long day at school, and over time it was a major way for us to bond as a family and to release some stress from the past weeks or month. According to PBS.org, having a game night is a great way to bond, and it contributes to positive outcomes on the family. For us, game night began with a Disney movie as we began our first few games. We tend to have board games based on our favorite movies, such as Clue. And if we don't have a board game that corresponds with a favorite movie, Disney is our go-to film. We end the night with my favorite board game, Lord of the Rings Monopoly. Now that you know the history behind family game night, allow me to explain the significance it has on my life. Growing up, my family always told me that family is important. When interviewing my dad, I asked him why they began a tradition such as family game night in the first place. He said, keeping up with your family, even as you move away, is an important way in maintaining the bonds that you created growing up. That's why we began family game night in the first place, to create those bonds and to begin them at a young age so that you could keep them up and keep up with your family as you grew up. Spending time with my family has always been a major importance in my life, and it's one of the reasons why it's so vital to have a game night in my life. And even as I moved away from home, having game night was so important that I continued it with my friends and my sisters. And it's something that I will continue with my own family as well. Having game night is so important to me. As I mentioned, Lord of the Rings Monopoly is my favorite board game, not only because it's one of my favorite films series, but because it is a challenging game in itself. According to CBS article, Monopoly requires skill and strategy. All Monopoly games are related. They have the same rules, but Lord of the Rings Monopoly has movie elements in it as well. For example, this one has different elements and rules that it adds to. For example, the Ring of Power is a symbol from the movies. It's one of the main reasons in the movie. It moves just like all of the other pawns, but it only moves when you roll the Eye of Sauron, which is a symbol that replaces the 1 on one of the die. The game continues as normal Monopoly does, with the added film elements in it as well. And it ends either when the eye reaches the final property piece on the game before it restarts, which in this case is Mount Doom, which is a significance from the movie because it was the final step in the movie as well. Or the game ends when one of the players becomes bankrupt, just like in normal Monopoly. Different families have different ways of bonding and spending time together. but because of the strong family values my family instilled in me, the unbreakable bond I have with my sisters, and the love for board games I have, I am so thankful that I had this opportunity to carry on this tradition into my own family. I hope next time you sit down and play a board game or spend time with your family, you'll think that even a small thing can contribute to a tradition that you will never forget. I will always remember what having a game night has done to my family. It brought us closer together. And isn't that what family traditions are supposed to be about?